Hey everyone, Fujosevich here. Welcome back to some Hearthstone with some Kazakus RenoLock, where the point of this game is basically one of three major win conditions, I guess. Number one, you just grind someone out with Reno and you make them feel shame after you heal 29 health.
I'll never tell.
That could be terrifying. Wow, that is absolutely awful for us. The second win condition is going to be Lord Jaraxxus, because he is the bomb. And our third win condition is going to be a OTK. Probably usually those two things work in combination. You kind of stall it long enough with your Reno to draw your OTK. Now, I generally have this disclaimer always, that most OTKs run... Oh, that's very reasonable. Do I bother playing this? I'll tap. Because I got guts. And we can now this is perfect. And so generally you want to have Reno to let you stall out long enough that you can then actually play your OTK. Now most decks, like I say, run Leroy Jenkins. I don't have Leroy. I'm not going to go ahead and craft Leroy. I'm not sure how much I want to be playing this deck. But so we are running Reckless Rocketeer. Weird tongue twister. Really shouldn't be. But because of that, we do need an Emperor Thaurissan proc to really allow the combo to go more smoothly. And that's something that's really fine, to be honest with you, for our purposes. But it's just something to be aware of while we're going through these games, because...
Excuse me.
Well, you are on fire. Thanks, buddy. And this deck, also this specific deck, is tech much more towards being anti-aggro. So we have really two major techs in here. One we just saw get played was a 5 mana 4/5 taunt second rate bruiser. But the interesting thing about second rate bruiser is that its cost gets discounted by 2 if your opponent has two or more minions on board. So I wonder if this is worth a Shadow Bolt or not. So now we have the choice of whether or not we want to tap ourselves down to 20. And actually I think we will, just because they just played a Fireball for removal. So we can feel safe in doing this. Worst case, we're going to take another 5 to face, but we have Reno, so we're not too worried about 5 to face, at this point at least. Once we get up to higher mana, yeah, maybe, because it's not Reno, they might run 2 Fireballs, but one just got burned, so there's not going to be any crazy Kazakus interactions here. And then basically the rest of this deck, aside from the combo and Lord Jaraxxus, we have lots of control-y things. We have Twisting Nether, we have Abyssal Enforcer for board clear, Siphon Soul for hard removal, Fellfire Potion for hard removal, for board removal, a Shadow Flame and Hellfire, a Shadow Bolt, which we just saw, a Demon Wrath. There's lots of great, really control-y options that Warlock has, and they're basically all enabled through... This is interesting, because this gets 4 health back this turn, so I'm not even sure how much I really need to heal this turn. Like, I mean, I'm not expecting to get bursted down from 16. I'm just going to go ahead and play Kazakus now. I'll go ahead and take a 10 cost spell. Add 3 random demons to your hand. Deal 8 damage. Do we want more things in our hand? I think our hand is going to be basically full the rest of the game. I'll deal 8 damage to something. That's pretty sweet. Transform all minions into 1/1 sheep. I don't need to draw any more cards. I'll take the armor. So that's pretty good spell, I think. I think that's pretty good. I get to deal damage and then gain some armor. So this is, again, more removal. And because it's just deal 8 damage, we can just deal it straight to face. And maybe if we take the 5 mana spell, I know there's actually been some math involved in which is the better spell, or which is the best spell to take in the best combinations. This opponent is really going all out on the face burn. What is this card? This is a new card. I don't know. Game +2/+2 if an enemy is frozen. We could do a slow burn here. I'm not in a huge rush. Although I guess the issue is the fact that... Yeah, I mean, obviously we need to remove this minion. But then what do we have to heal up to? 8 mana from our opponent is still not going to be enough, so I think we can just kind of go like this. Hard removal, heal up a little bit more. test for secrets. Maybe it's just Ice Block? Because we have played a minion into it, right? So there's no way it's the new minion? That's kind of scary. Surprised that didn't go face. He pinged face. I guess he wanted to remove here. I'm fine with that. This is now actually kind of scary. Oh, I wonder if we get stuck playing, we could Twisting Nether now. Shadow Bolt unfortunately doesn't work. We could Twisting Nether because we have ultra hard removal for later on. There's no way these are both fireballs in hand. And maybe we're getting too greedy with our Reno, but this is a greedy deck, so honestly I don't mind that much. I think the Reno handlock, and this isn't really handlock, this is more really control Reno Warlock, which is fine. Obviously, yeah. Now, I mean, now I am definitely still worried. If he does any more burst to face, then I will Reno. I think I'm forced to... Yeah, okay. So if I'm not dead, now we Reno. And hope that our opponent realizes the folly in their plans. Deal 8 damage, 10 armor? Okay, okay. Let's just... Oh, wait, no, wait. We can tap one more time, right? Really put shame. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This makes me go to 8. So we can tap now for free. And we are rich. We're not going to be rich, Reno. We are rich. And I'm going to go ahead and... Actually, I regret that play. Because with this sort of control, weird mage, maybe they are running Medivh, actually. And if they are running Medivh, well... You know what?
We have many.
This card actually has tons and tons of value. Oh boy. So... Now there's an issue. First of all, this has to disappear, right? And we hope we don't get vaporized. Now the issue is I'm really expecting this second secret to be the new Mage secret. So I'm going to go ahead and play Bran and just eat it. Oh, that's actually not the worst thing in the world because we have Shadow Bolt. Conveniently. I was actually expecting Bran to get turned into a 1/1 sheep. But I'm okay with the fact that he didn't. Now I don't have anything to activate him next turn. And this is kind of sad, because I probably will just trade Reno in here. Although we could Hellfire, but we don't have that much healing, so I don't want to get too silly. And, oh, that is really unfortunate now. Actually, how much damage do we have? We can deal... And now again, I'm still worried about that sort of... I am still worried about some sort of bad result from this new secret. So how can we test it? Let's go Bran face. It's not armor. Or vaporize. I think we have to play Refreshment Vendor first, unfortunately. Oh, I don't want to take the healing, though, unless I have to. Another mirror entity. Amazing. Amazing. And I think we just Hellfire. And we'll just Hellfire this board down. And we will let our Bran get pinged down. I'm really not bothered at all by that. We have a whole bunch of damage, hopefully, coming soon. Now the issue is if... Wow, Forgotten Torch. And just really wants to clear this board off. Now, with this sort of control mage deck that we're running into here, I'm kind of really expecting... that's a good Twilight Drake, but Ragnaros is better. Ragnaros onto an empty board when we have our opponent on a 19... Actually, 18 health clock is pretty powerful. Now, admittedly, we only have 1/3 of the combo, but there's only 9 cards left in our deck, so I'm not too worried. And our opponent hasn't been playing tons and tons of removal, but like I said, I'm not really surprised at that response there. Now we have a couple options. I'm gonna save Kazakus Potion, obviously, as hard removal, because we don't have any removal otherwise. And I think I'm obviously done with tapping. The best card for me would have been Emperor Thaurissan there. 4 mana, 4/7 I think is still pretty reasonable to play at this point. It might call for an answer from our opponent. And this 10 armor I think is going to end up being really important. That's really an interesting choice. So our opponent's deck here had tons and tons of burn, which is cool. And now we have enough of the combo that we just need to draw Emperor Thaurissan.
I have no time.
And I'm really torn between whether or not we should do anything here. Because when Polymorph just got played, I'm going to go ahead and say no, but now tapping last is silly. Okay, let's leave it. And I kept Defender of Argus just for the event that we ever play Lord Jaraxxus, but I can't imagine that we ever do simply because our opponent has played so much burn that I think I'd be terrified of ever setting myself at 15 health intentionally. Especially when I'm so high. Although we could Jaraxxus into armor. Jaraxxus with 25 health would be pretty sweet, I guess. I mean, that would be alright. And so now this turn is a little bit awkward just because of the health. Just because of the attack and health of minions on board. He could attack in and then ping, but then he's going to lose a minion. And this is a little bit awkward for him as well. Because now I'm able to do all sorts of sweet things. Honestly, not that many sweet things, but this is going to at least be one of them.
Let none survive.
Now, obviously, I am kind of expecting to get hit with a Flame Strike or a Blizzard. And maybe I should have just gone face there. I should have taken a second and thought about that. I could have absolutely just gone face. I think that would have been the safe play. But that's okay. We're both kind of running out of resources, and I know I'm running out of time because I don't have any other major healing, I don't think, in this deck. Ping into Flame Strike. Yeah, only sets me with one little dude to be pinging him away, and we have our combo now. The question is, I mean, we obviously can't tap, but the question is, do we want to set ourselves at 17? Set ourselves at 17 and set our opponent at 15. Does it make much of a difference? And I am gonna say probably not. We could... Ooh. What's the difference between setting us at 17 versus 20? And I haven't been paying... We played Refreshment Vendor. We obviously already renoed. We already got our heal from Mistress of Mixtures. I don't think we have any healing left, so if I'm ever going to play Abyssal Enforcer, it's going to have to be now, right?
I wonder.
Otherwise this becomes a dead card in hand. So maybe this sets him on a clock. How much damage do we have? Now we have 10 plus a 5. Maybe that's enough of a clock to do something. And we still do have 10 armor in hand, so that is actually going to be a little bit useful. And if he does start pinging, maybe I'm going to go ahead and use this next turn, to be honest. 8 plus 6 is 14, so I mean... It's lethal. There's no doubt about that, but we'll see how it ends up working.
Time runs out on me.
And maybe it's just that our opponent is kind of unsure about the math, about what they want to do here. Well, that is definitely scary. Secret Keeper. So now we're kind of forced into playing the armor here, which is okay. So I think we just go face. And worst case, this pops the ice block at 8. Which is kind of not great. I obviously should have done it the other way around and popped it at 6. But I think gaining the 10 armor is kind of huge for us right now. So this basically forces this to get removed, and even if it does, we have Faceless, we have Rocketeer into Power Overwhelming. So we have lots and lots of ways to be getting through, and if there is, let's say, some sort of taunt, which I really don't imagine this Mage running, after seeing all the massive amount of burn that our opponent has. And that's just a quick well played, everyone. So this is another great example of how this deck can kind of work against what was a very interesting opponent that we ran into here. And yeah, I was actually debating for half a second playing Dirty Rat for BM and for experience on Warlock, but then I thought if they pull a taunt and we lose, that'll just be silly. So thanks for hanging out with me, everyone. I am going to continue playing this deck. This deck is super fun. I've always really enjoyed the RenoLocks, the hand locks, and this is a great extension, utilizing some of the new cards from Mean Streets of Gadgetzan If you want to be seeing more types of these videos, feel free to subscribe. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you next time.